Justice is calling. As jurors, you should not be swayed by sympathy, though what has happened is tragic and this loss still rings. What has been done must be regarded with great respect. Do not volunteer explanations of your answers, and beyond these walls, do not discuss the case. We gather here today due to the untimely and unfortunate passing of Juliet from the Capulets and Romeo from the Montagues.
Romeo!
Sir Capulet, we ask you to come up to the stand.
I was distraught as my only daughter had been laying in front of me, dead.
And yet your first thought was of your fortune, that no one would continue the Capulet name?
Your Honor,
My intentions, while they may have been for the betterment of my entire family, were never to push my daughter to kill herself. And I have no control over that other boy's actions.
No. Mr. Capulet, is it true that, at the time of your daughter's faux death, you said, "Death is my son-in-law, death is my heir. My daughter he hath wedded. I will die and leave him all." Did you even mourn your daughter's death before thinking of your family's name?
Your Honor, is this not a sensitive subject? His daughter has just recently passed.
Silence! Capulet, your response? It has been brought to my attention that during the betrothment of Juliet in Paris, when she argued with intense and painful distaste, you responded with verbal aggression and physical abuse.
Were you so caught up in your own greedy wants that you ignored the blatant cries of disposition from your daughter? So much so that you would go as far as physically hurting her to get your way? Was her opinion ever important to you?
I object. Can we call Lady Capulet to the stand, please?
Capulet dismissed for now. Defendant, call your next witness.
Now, Lady Capulet, remember that you are under oath. Can you please explain your relationship with your daughter?
Juliet getting married to Paris was something that I always wanted for her. She grew up under the wing of the nurse, but I always wanted for her to live a better marriage than I.
Did Juliet ever say anything about wanting to escape Verona? Was there any hints that she was already betrothed?
Well, the night of the fight after my husband departed, she said to me,
"Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint cold through my veins that almost freezes up the heat of life."
I never knew what she actually meant. I just thought she was upset about her father being so angry with her. She was acting out.
How do you expect to blame Capulet when we have someone right here who was explicitly described a scene of death, an obvious sign of what was going to happen?
I couldn't tell anyone. Have you met my husband? That man is a fit of rage.
Silence! Order in the court!
1.
As you can see, this woman was obviously mentally weak. She has been beaten down. Were in her intentions to protect herself or to withhold her place as the house's lady? Juliet was her only daughter and just announced to take Lady Capulet's spot as head of the house. Who would want to give up that power? So did Miss Capulet protect her physically well-being or her position of power?
Prosecutor, do you have any questions?
If I may, Your Honor. You mentioned Mr. Capulet's behavior, describing a fit of rage. Can you elaborate?
Well, when Juliet told us that she could not marry Paris, Capulet replied by calling her a disobedient wreck and threatened to sort of disown her and never speak of her again. He said that Juliet was a curse, the family's baggage, and could barely be held back from hitting her.
Would you say that his dismissive behavior made Juliet feel alone, that she had no one to trust or rely on?
Yes.
And that his rejection was the turning point that pushed Juliet to fake her own death in the first place?
Yes.
So how could you have actually done anything to stop her when Juliet made the decision that she was going to leave Verona long before you left the room?
Thank you, Lady Capulet.
How could Lady Capulet be to blame if it was her husband who verbally accosted Juliet and threatened to kick her out of their home? Capulet is obviously to blame, as he was the one who pushed Juliet to fake her own death, which is what started everything.
With what was heard in the court, Do we all agree that Capulet is to blame for the death of both parties?
I still don't understand how he could be at fault for both Romeo and Juliet committing suicide. That was their choice, right?
Whether or not Capulet was responsible for both suicides, we can all agree that Capulet was the one who took the first domino, right?
And we cannot blame Lady Capulet, though Juliet did say something about wanting to die if she married Paris. How this is all playing out, it seems as though Lady Capulet was in a situation where Capulet forced her into silence. He wasn't only controlling Juliet's life, he was controlling Lady Capulet's as well.
We all saw her distant expression towards Capulet. There's no question that Capulet was the antagonist of this situation.
Are we all in agreement?
The jury stands in a unanimous agreement. Capulet, you are guilty of the deaths of Romeo and Juliet. This case is dismissed.
Die and leave him all. Did you even mourn your daughter's death before?